You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Big Brother. Mainstream media.
Government cover-ups.
Government cover-ups.
You want answers?
You want answers?
So does he.
Well, so does he.
He's Richie Allen.
He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
And now,
live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Richie's with us till 20 after. Then I'll continue with your calls. I'm going to get into the preparations for economic collapse that are tied in to this article with Lord Rothschild. I want to, in the next segment, briefly have him talk about Greece, Ireland, other countries being conquered by the bankers, his take on that, where Ukraine's going. Right now with Richie Allen, let's go back to the calls. Matt in Washington, D.C., you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, first point I just wanted to say was I called into NPR, and it was really easy to get on air and make some good, libertarian perspective points. And they actually commented on it for a little while.
Did you get into national NPR or local?
Yeah, it was Diane Ream's show. It was nationally syndicated.
Well, all of them have huge audiences because it's the only liberal media that actually has audiences. And so that's one of the best things you can do. And the key is just going, when you call in with your voice, that means you're part of the cult. What were you able to say?
I just made the point that nobody knows what the net neutrality bill was, and they were saying that the companies were against it, and I was just challenging that perspective that we've never seen it, and sounded like every other case where more bureaucrats get involved and then go and work for the companies they were supposed to oversee.
Well, it must be really bad that they wouldn't testify to Congress and they won't release it. I mean, how obvious is that? What's your take on the pedo rings?
Well, I just think that it goes along with a lot of the human rights issues that's going on, where it's a culture of turning away from domination of a minority or the people who don't have a voice, And I just think that it comes from the fact that people, when they start turning away from these animal domination, the fact that people eat and consume animals, it makes it a lot easier to turn away from human domination. And I just wanted to get your take on whether or not you think that it's harder to, or it's easier to turn away from things like that when you.
No, I hear you. I mean, if we're like eating animals and doing all this, then why is it okay, to do that when we claim we care about life? I mean, I get your perspective. Let me talk to Richie Allen and get his take. Richie.
I love the way you dumped that one on me, Alex. I'm a red blood.
Yeah, but you're co-hosting with us. That's how these long-form interviews go.
Absolutely right. Look, it's a really interesting point. I'm not going to try and dodge the question. I am a meat eater. I do my absolute best to make sure that the meat I eat is ethically farmed, that animals are properly taken care of. But it's an interesting point, and it's been expressed by people on programs I've presented before, and I do respect that opinion. But I eat white meat and fish, and I will continue to do so.
Well, let me break that down for people. I'm addicted to it, but I don't eat any processed garbage. I eat open-range eggs. I eat the highest quality when I can. And by when I can, I don't eat crap chicken full of antibiotics. I get the open-range stuff. Tastes better. It's like 3 times more. But as we buy more and more of it, it's creating a market. I'm seeing prices actually go down as we displace the antibiotic-filled torture cages that these chickens are in. McDonald's has announced they're going to be trying to get healthier chicken with no antibiotics. We see the pressure working. But I don't look down on those that have decided to be vegan. In fact, I respect them. I understand their perspective. Here's the issue. A bunny rabbit or a deer or a cow is a prey animal, and it has been eaten forever. I don't want to eat elephants or seals or lions or tigers or cats or dogs. They're not prey animals. I don't want to eat people. You don't see cows building starships. You don't see cows creating Beethoven. Now, that said, I have trouble. I've seen it ordered before, suckling pig. I don't like seeing a piglet come out to be eaten. But as long as they're killed humanely and taken care of, that is part of their existence. It's what's done in the natural order. Humans are omnivores. Our guts are built to be omnivores. We're meant to have maybe 10% meat. We do eat too much meat. It's full of crap. It's got a lot of problems. I'd be healthier if I cut way back. I've tried to, but I'm addicted. But here's another issue. They have major studies. Meat is associated with larger brain CC size, higher IQ and brain development. We are omnivores that have gone meat heavy, and it's increased our aggression.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems and enhance overall health. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation, a highly advanced nutraceutical form of this key herb that has been traditionally used by civilizations for thousands of years to promote health. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market, sourced from top leading manufacturers to ensure a concentrated level of bioactive ingredients. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules, you will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Wild crafted from the Mediterranean oregano species that experts agree is one of the most powerful and most challenging to acquire. This winter season, it's more important than ever to secure this true form of oil of oregano. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of superoxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
We are on the march. The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Well, we're talking about corruption in high places and the mindset, the MO of the globalist controllers. We know are super anti-human, anti-freedom. Richie Allen, syndicated radio host out of the UK, RichieAllenShow.com is our guest till the end of this segment. I'll continue with calls and get into the Rothschild news, other areas I haven't hit yet, and a bunch of breaking news. NBA launches feminist campaign to lecture men not doing enough housework, as if men somehow are lazy and bad. Again, the war on men accelerates. It's really a war on humanity to divide and conquer. A war on women is a war on men. A war on men is a war on women, and ultimately children. Richie Allen's our guest. Geopolitically, you wanted to briefly, before we go to calls, get into what's happening in Ukraine, which the financial conquering of Mario Draghi, where they install the leaders in places like Italy now, just unprecedented, where the banks install a Goldman Sachs Europe head as the president. No election needed.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. So you're in Europe, you're dealing with this. You've seen Ireland fight for independence, only to now go under EU domination, to be signed on to all this debt that's not yours. What's your take on that?
Well, it's horrendous, Alex. I've said time and time again over the years that every prime minister or every finance minister of a European country who back in the 1990s signed on to the single currency, the euro. Every one of them should be in jail for treason for the rest of their lives. Because what they effectively did was sold the sovereignty of all of those countries down the river. And those countries were no longer responsible for their own money supply and were basically being supplied money by central banks, which didn't have any money. I won't waste your time. You've spent so many episodes, so many shows over the years explaining this to people, what it actually means. Those countries were then given money which didn't exist. The principal created, the interest never created, to get those countries up to their absolute necks in debt that could never be paid. And then they've come for the natural resources of our countries. It's unbelievable, Alex. And a recent guest on one of my programs, an Irish guy called Ben Gilroy, terrific activist in Ireland, Ben, he said, Richie, when they talk about the Troika, and for your viewers who don't know what the Troika is, it's the European institutions, it's the European Union, the European Central Bank, and effectively the International Monetary Fund. When they come to your country to demand assets in return for debts that you can't pay, the Troika isn't the European Central Bank, the IMF, and the European Union. It's actually Bechtel and Pepsi and McDonald's and all those corporations that we decry and we complain about on our programs. And Alex, you are 100% right. The ousting of Yanukovych was basically a grab by these same people for Ukraine. That's all it was, plain and simple. I mean, anybody arguing with that needs only know that Ukraine currently has a finance minister. You know who she is, Alex. She's a Chicago woman. She's a woman from Chicago being sent in there like Varoufakis has been in Greece. They think this guy in Greece is the Messiah. No, he ain't. He went to college in Texas. He's got links to the very banks that we just mentioned.
And notice immediately they sold out and went along with the EU debt deal. Yeah,
that's right. And we'll agree to take billions in aid from the European Union. Again, the same old story played out time and time again. Alex, you've had John Perkins on your shows over the years. I mean, come on, he spelled it out, John Perkins, in his book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. This has been their modus operandi for years. Swan in there, promise loads of money, growth, jobs, you know, independence, it's all going to work out well for you, but you can never pay that money back because the interest has never been created.
Plus, they create the money out of nothing, then there's hundreds of conditions. You've got to give the globalist all the money back to their companies. You're not allowed to spend it like you want.
Correct. Worse again, it doesn't get any more corrupt. And then, like what's happened, you mentioned Ireland, Alex. We've given up in recent years to these companies, you know, masquerading as the Troika. We've given up our forestry, Alex. We've given up the little bit of natural fuel reserve we have. We've given up our water. It's unbelievable. These are things that can never be taken back. And it's just a grab. And you mentioned, again, I often take my lead from you and what you do. You're talking about the TTIP free trade agreement, and all these agreements are supposed to bring everything up, you know, a rising tide lifts all ships. It's going to be great for all the poorer countries in the world. It isn't, Alex. It's just going to get those countries deeper and deeper into the pockets of the cabal and of those corporations. It's theft in broad daylight is what it is. And I mean, how many times have you said it this week on InfoWars, last week? You know, 500 people or 150 people in the world owning more than half of the world's assets. Alex, come on, you know. How much longer are people going to take this?
Exactly. They're always saying it's the 1%. It's actually a couple hundred people have half the world's wealth. And it's those very ultra-rich that want to get rid of the middle class. I mean, even 2 years ago, Rolling Stone had the headline, Matt Taibbi, everything is rigged, the biggest price-fixing scandal ever. We now know the interest rates are rigged. We now know the stock market's rigged. This is all admitted. That's what's so crazy. Since I first got on air 20 years ago and others did, back then they wouldn't admit all this. Now it's just all admitted. Is that a victory? Or are they just trying to normalize it all and say, okay, you're going to expose us? How about we just put all the dirty laundry out? Good luck digging through the mountain that we just dumped on your head.
Alex, you know what must be very frustrating for guys like you and David Icke and Jim Marrs? And you've always been the three that I've gone to over the years. You've now, I think, succeeded in educating massive amounts of people about what's going on. Of course, the next step is to get them to do something about it. I think you're winning the information war. You're winning the info war, Alex. But what